Hi Mathletes, in this video we are going to learn about graphing quadratic equations and we're going to focus on vertex form.
What does an x squared graph look like? So just to review a little bit, a quadratic equation is an equation that is second degree. That means the highest power is x squared. When we have just a y equals x squared, we call this the parent function because it's stripped down to just the basic shape. So this is a parent function. And all quadratic equations have the same basic shape. It's a U shape, so it's either going up or it could be opening down. And we call that basic shape a parabola. So when we fill in a table, we're going to start with some negatives and positives. So fill in your table with these x values and just evaluate. What is negative 3 squared? That's negative 3 times negative 3 or 9. Negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. And 3 times 3 is 9. So you see that we have perfect squares here. And now we're going to plot them at the coordinate plane on the right. And remember, it's been a while since we graphed x, y, label our x and y axes. Plot these points. So negative 3, positive 9 is going to be right here. Negative 2, 4. Negative 1, 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. 2, 4. And 3, 9. So one thing, when you're drawing this graph in, it is always going to be a smooth U-shaped curve. Never make that like a V down there. And so you want to go through all the points and your graph should look like this. So for today, we're going to focus on vertex form of an equation. That is y equals a times the quantity x minus h squared plus k. This will always be a quadratic function. And the reason we call it vertex form is because the h and the k are our vertex. So you're going to write HK here. One thing that we need to note is that there is a built-in subtraction in our equation, in the form. And so when you see a subtract sign there, right there, that means that you are always going to do the opposite. And when we get to an example, you'll see that. So it's minus the h value, it's minus the x spot of the vertex. So you will need to flip the sign when you're given your equation. And the k value, the y spot of the vertex, will be as it is. And just in general, the vertex of an equation is the turning point. That's what we call the turning point of our equation, where it changes direction. Remember, it's a U shape. So it's the point at which it goes from decreasing from right here and then goes increasing up. Or if we have an upside down U shape, you start increasing here, and then it's the point at which your graph starts decreasing. So it's the turning point. A maximum or minimum depends on whether your graph opens up or down. So you have a minimum if your graph opens up, and by opens up, we mean like this. You have a minimum. You know, the vertex is a minimum. And if you have a graph that opens down, that means you have a graph that looks like this, and the vertex is a maximum. The jumps, I'm going to pull over the graph that we did before. There's predictable jumps in the graph. So in graphing a line, we went and used the slope, rise over run, to go to next points and to know what our pattern was. But with a quadratic, we have a different pattern. So if we look at our graph, we go up 1 before we go left or right. Then from this point, we go up 3 till we hit the next point, and we do that in both directions. And finally, we go up 5 before we go to the next point. And so you can label that on your graph, 5, this one is 3, and this one is 1. You might wonder where we get these jumps from, and the idea comes from our y values, which are perfect squares, because this is a squared function. And if we take the difference between those values, so this would be a +1 jump, this is a +3 jump, this is a +5 jump, and if we kept going, it would keep going by these odd numbers. And you can see that in our graph. From here, if we go out 0, we go up 1. If we go up 2 here, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So these jumps, and so the difference between the big jumps from our vertex are these odd numbers. And so how we look at those, because sometimes the leading coefficient is not 1. So when their leading coefficient is 1, it's going to be these values that we have right here. So how we accommodate for that, and it'll make more sense when we do these, but we will have our jumps are the a value, 3 times the a value, 5 times the a value, and it would go on from there. So the x and y intercepts, the x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. And what you think about is, what is the x value when y is 0? And there can be 2, 1, or no x-intercepts, depending on how that U-shape goes. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. And the question that you think about is, what is the y value when x is equal to 0? And there's exactly one of those. Let's look at an example. Y equals x plus 2 quantity squared minus 3. We can rewrite our equation so it's in exactly the same form as our formula. As you do more of this, you probably won't do that. But just to see it for this first time, so we can have x minus a value. X minus what is the same as x plus 2? So it's x minus a -2 is the same thing as x plus 2. And this is supposed to be plus k, so it's plus a -3 is the same thing as subtracting 3. And if we want to put an a value in here, 1 is the number that does not change the value. So that is how our a, b, or a, h, and k are if we write this exactly as our formula, which means our vertex is -2, -3. And our jumps are going to be multiples. Remember, it's a, 3a, and 5a. And so it's going to be 1, 3, and 5 because our a is equal to 1. And that's going to be just like our parent functions, so they have the same shape. It's just going to be shifted to a new vertex. So let's plot those points. At -2, -3, that's right here. And our first jump is up 1 and to the right and left one from that point. And then from that point, the third one is up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And from that other point, 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And then the last one, 5, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. You can also, when you're up at this point, the graph is symmetric. So when you think of the line that would be going through the vertex, they're always going to be equidistant from that point. And so this is 3 away, and then this is going to be 3 away from that center line through the vertex. We have enough information here to connect those points, so connect with a nice smooth curve, and we'll talk about the intercepts next. The y-intercept, you can read off your graph, but if you needed to find that, remember it is what is the y value when x is 0. So you could simply go up to the original equation and say y is equal to 0 plus 2 squared minus 3. 0 plus 2 is 2 squared. That gives us 4. And if we subtract 3, we get -1. And you can see that point right on our graph right here of 0, -1. We cannot read our x-intercepts off our graph because they're somewhere between 0 and -1 and then -3 and -4. So we're going to have to calculate those, and they're not going to come out to be integer values. So the x-intercept is when y is equal to 0. What are our x values? And so we're going to let y equal 0 in our equation. So we have x plus 2 quantity squared minus 3 equal to 0. That equals 0 can be on either side of the expression. And we're going to solve this using the square root method, like we did in the last module. And the first thing we're going to do is add 3 to both sides. So we have 3 equal to a squared value. And to undo a square, we are going to square root. When you square root, remember that's going to be plus or minus. So we have plus or minus root 3 equal to x plus 2. To get x by itself, we're going to subtract 2. I'm going to shift this over because it is not like terms with that root 3. So I have x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus root 3. What does that look like on the graph? We're going to have to get a decimal approximation because we don't have a feel for what it looks like to be minus 2 plus or minus root 3. I'm going to pull those two roots apart, and we're going to do a decimal approximation. If you type into your calculator negative 2 plus the square root of 3, you are going to get negative 0.3. And if you take negative 2 and subtract the square root of 3, you're going to get approximately negative 3.7. Those are decimals. But if you look at our graph, you know, a negative 0.3 is pretty accurate to what we have here, and a negative 3.7 is in the ballpark of where we're looking for right here. So those are where our intercepts are, approximately right here and right here. When you label those, you can keep them in this radical form. But to know where they are in your graph, you are going to want to think about them in the decimal form.